So you think when they pitched Paul Blart Mall Cop, it was like, okay, imagine Nacho Libre, but he is a mall cop. Do you think that was?
Imagine Die Hard, but he's a mall cop.
Yeah. Also, Nacho Libre, he's like wrestling for like orphans. He's not.
It's like
the whole joke is that he's a fat idiot.
Let's take the humor of Nacho Libre, but the plot of Die Hard.
Let's take the humor of Nacho Libre, the concept of Night at the Museum, but get rid of all the supernatural stuff.
They're not at a museum; they're at a mall.
It's Paul Blart.
Also,
it's Paul Blart Museum.
Nothing comes to life.
The museum cut. What'd you say, Alex?
Nothing comes to life.
That's why I said without the
concept. It's the concept of the movie without the concept.
He's a museum cop. He's a museum cop.
So it was a movie directed by a factory.
No, it's the guy who made Mama, dude.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it came out this week. We all saw it
together.
Not you, Brian.
We all saw it together because we're all best friends.
And we saw it together.
The three of us saw it together.
And then Brian saw it with...
It's like someone was going out of their way to
person?
separate.
If I can think of one person in this room that has separated you two in the past 24 hours, it's Brian.
Okay, don't let Brian.
Don't
try
let
to separate us. Don't let them say.
I won't let them. Don't. You don't get to talk to us like that.
Well, Brian, you successfully separated you two. You could have been in the same room together, sitting next to each other.
Brian,
you weren't.
Brian, you could have been holding Sam's leg.
Yeah. I was pretty lukewarm about it. I was like, hey, the trailer looked kind of cool, but if it was terrible, I was like, that wouldn't surprise me.
I didn't really expect anything out of it because I never saw the original.
Same here.
I didn't really know anything about the plot. I didn't really care, and so I wasn't even gonna watch it originally.
Yeah, that's what you told us.
Yeah,
and then
he saw it with someone else.
Then I saw it
with another person. He saw it
another group of people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Same number of people too, actually.
Wow.
Well, I'm the only one here that's seen the original TV miniseries, or know anything about the book and all that. So when I heard that they were remaking it, I'm like, well, that's a good thing because the TV series is not that great at all. And it's definitely a cool concept. Then I saw the trailer and I'm like, well, I was like, it could be good, maybe. And then I went in and I liked it quite a bit myself.
So I went in thinking, I saw the trailer. I only saw the one trailer. Like, completely unintentionally, I only saw one trailer once. And my takeaway from the trailer was, oh, they're just trying to bank off Stranger Things. Like that, they're just going to be like, oh, Stranger Things is popular.
Stephen King.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, it's popular right now. Like, those people making it did not make Stranger Things popular in that, like, brand of entertainment. But Stranger Things brought it back. So I was like, oh, they're just banking off that. And I liked it more than I thought I would. I probably have the most problems with it, I think.
Oh yeah, I've got some problems.
I have plenty of problems.
Yeah, I have problems with it. It's got some cool scares, cool scenes.
Yeah.
Really relatable kid characters, for the most part.
That's a flip-floppy statement. Because
I think only one of them was terrible. All the rest of the kids were good.
I
would say half of them were good.
Yeah, I would say I can name 3 that I thought were awful.
3 that were awful?
The Jewish kid,
the
black kid had no screen time, and the girl. The girl was awful.
You hated the girl?
Her acting was terrible.
No, she wasn't as bad as the fat kid. Dude.
She was the worst actress in the movie.
You thought she was worse than the fat kid?
She's the worst actress in the movie.
It's the Jewish kid who does. He has like 3 lines, so I don't care.
Well, that's
the
why
black kid has the same. He has like 3.
Well, the writers forgot the black kid existed until the third act of the movie.
But the fat kid has a ton of lines and he sucks. He's easily the worst part.
The girl has a ton of lines and she's awful.
Like she's not
terrible.
Great, but she's nowhere near as bad as the fat kid.
Well, they're both very bad.
Yeah, we love the movie. We love the movie.
But
fuck all these kids. All of them fucking.
No, but the Stranger kid,
either
the
way,
Stranger
though,
Things kid, the stuttering kid, and the
all the non-ethnic minority white kids are the best.
Oh no, the hypochondriac kid.
Yeah, that's all the non-ethnic minority white kids.
Either way, all the kids were relatable though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
They all swore.
They all talked like kids.
Yeah, they all talked like kids would have.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I was like.
They all had at least the better actors out of them had really natural reactions to things. Like
that was one of the best
Stranger Things kid, like that scary scene the first time he sees the clown. He's like, "What the fuck is that?
Well, and
What is that?"
yeah, and then like so scared with him, he'd be like, "Fuck!" Like he would just be mad. Like,
Yeah,
this
he-
cannot
I
be
also like
happening
how he
anymore.
acted when he got left out of things, like when he didn't get to go upstairs. He was like, "You fucking faggots are taking fucking forever, and I had to fucking sit out here. Oh, you guys had to clean up the blood. Oh, can only virgins see this shit?"
Yeah, I really liked how he had really, like, that's one of the biggest problems in a lot of horror movies is they don't react like people do.
Yeah.
But he was just in that room, and it's in the trailer where all, like, the spooky clown stuff is in there. And the first thing he said, he's like, "Oh, fuck." Because he knows he can't
That's what I was
get out.
talking about. That part's
And it's so, like, that's what everyone in the audience is thinking. Like, are you fucking kidding me with this? Shit. And,
And
like,
I even said earlier that I don't like clowns, and now he's throwing clowns at me.
and, like, that coffin opens up, and he, like, sees it's going out of its way to scare him, and he's like, fucking goddamn it.
But yeah, that's why I'd say the fat kid was the worst because he literally didn't react at all to anything. Like nothing, everything that happened to him, he had the same expression. Even got sliced open twice, and
he
like
got,
both
an,
times
he got
like,
an H put into his
and he
stomach.
was like, "I'm fine," and like he just has the same expression on his face the entire movie.
It's very pretty,
oh
also.
yeah, it's-
The
Oh
movie's
yeah,
very,
yeah.
pretty.
It's shot
Well,
really well.
something the Devil's
It looks
Advocate
good.
said in their review that I'd like to piggyback off of what it is was that it feels like a high budget horror movie. Like very few horror movies, like you can
Yeah.
see how much money they're putting into it.
Yeah.
But since it's like such a big franchise, or not such a big franchise, but it has like fans,
A reputation.
Yeah, you can really feel the money they put into it. Like they're not afraid to show you monster shots. They're not afraid to show you kids getting killed.
Which is kind of interesting because for both this and the next one coming out in another year or so, the director, like, they were given a decent budget, and with how the original miniseries might have played out, like, the ending would have been even more special effects heavy. But then, like, they used their money really wisely and put that towards a lot of, like, just making the quality of it really good, also with a lot of the shots and everything.
I'd say that the first act is the strongest. Like the opening scene is the pinnacle of the movie, and I like for better and for worse, like it sells you on the rest of the movie. But
Yeah,
at the
the
same time,
Georgie and Pennywise scene.
yeah.
Hiya, Georgie. What a nice boat. Do you want it back?
Yes, please.
You look like a nice boy. Do you want a balloon too, Georgie?
I'm not supposed to take stuff from strangers.
Oh, well, I'm Pennywise the dancing clown.
It's also apparently the best part of the book.
Is
that
it?
first chapter?
Because it sells you on the rest of the movie. Like you're like, oh well, kids can die, but the movie also never reaches that point again, or even like tries to surpass it.
Yeah, apparently most of the stakes are in the second part when they're all adults. Like that's
Yeah.
when shit gets actually real.
Which is ironic because the monster kills children, but when they're adults, that's when shit gets real for them.
Yeah.
But, like,
Well, they're all terribly traumatized. Like, they're all incoherent.
Never boring, which I really appreciated because a lot of horror movies are fucking Conjuring 2.
Well,
But regardless if you like the Conjuring 2 or not, there are parts in it that are just boring.
Yeah.
Where nothing's happening and you're like, all right.
Well, and all the scares are paced pretty well, and like they're always coming. You always know if there's a lull in the movie, then you're not far off from like something interesting happening.
Also does a good job of focusing on characters, unlike a lot of horror movies where it's just like, well, it doesn't matter, they're gonna die or whatever. It's like they.
I would say it does. Like again, it does and it doesn't. Going back with the child actors, like there's some
Well,
characters
I've
that
got
get
some
fleshed
problems
out.
with how they dealt with it, but for the most part, it does it more and better than most horror movies would do it.
It's not just here are the victims.
Yeah.
Let's just count the time until they die. They're actual fully fledged characters.
But in that, it makes mistakes, and like mistakes that really like took me out of it, because the black character, he's forgotten about almost entirely. Like he's just
He's
not
forgotten
in the
about
movie.
even in the first scene he's in.
Yeah. And then he's a main character by the end of it, and they try fleshing him out in like a dialogue thing, but by that point I was like, they're just trying to make me care about this character now, and I didn't buy that at all.
Yeah.
So that's not even on him. Like he probably could have been better in the movie, but they didn't write him in very well. And the Jewish kid, he had one scene. It was just imbalanced. Like it obviously favored different characters.
It was mostly about the girl, the kid with the stutter, and the Stranger Things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, what was it? Like, that Jewish kid, not great actor, but he only had like 3 lines. What was interesting about his fear was like, it's just a painting he sees all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's in his dad's office, you know? And it freaks him out and he has to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. Like,
Yeah,
they didn't have to go into his character much.
Yeah,
It was
really
like, oh, that's
simple.
cool.
It was just, well, I would be freaked out if I saw it. I'd be like, Dad, you need to put that thing away.
Well, I mean, it was also kind of cool because it shows that like the thing he's most afraid of is something in his dad's office. The first scene he's in, his dad's towering over him. Like, I thought that scene was good. I just wanted more of that. Like, I wanted more of a character progression with him.
But like, to the extent as you pretty much understand each kid's fear by the end of it when it matters.
Yeah.
Oh, and the germ kid. Forgot about him. He was good.
Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah.
That was the one that like I related to the most. So I really liked him.
Not the racist bully who stabs fat people.
No.
That kid was fucked up.
Yeah. He's a bad person.
So that's another good thing about it is like the movie already has a villain in the monster, and then they just add another one that's equally as intimidating. It's like that kid's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And there's a part where the kid is like holding a gun, like playing with a gun. And once I saw him holding it, I was like, "That's great. He should have that."
Yeah.
He's about to shoot a cat. Base eggs. Sam Slade.
9. I'd space 6 out of 12.
12.
Uh, 8.
Yeah, I'd give this a solid 8 dead children out of dead children. How much did I give to?
You can break it.
How much did I give to?
Give it an 8.
Oh man, I liked Good Time way more than I liked this movie. Whatever.
That's because numerical reviews.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Stupid and they don't.
I mean, I feel like I've already touched on a lot of my biggest complaints that are also spoiler things, but I don't know. Just get into it.
That kid got his arm bit off.
It's got a
in
lot
the
of
first
advertising,
scene.
dude.
That was awesome.
Like a lot.
Isn't that in the trailer? I mean, obviously not the kid getting his arm cut off.
I
but
mean,
like,
just because I don't think so because I saw the trailer.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Like how he I didn't know because I never saw the original. I didn't know how the clown killed people.
Same.
He just unhinged his mouth and turned into a King Kong worm and just bit his arm off.
So
it's like, what the fuck? He can do that?
I want to talk about one of my favorite parts of the movie, which is Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise the Clown. Like his performance in that first scene is just it's great.
Apparently his eye going off, like kilter and going lazy, is not an effect.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
She can do it manually.
That's so much scarier.
And
That's probably why they hired him.
They were originally, according to IMDb, they were gonna put it in post, and then he was like, "Oh no, I can do it," and then he just started doing it. They're like, "Oh,
Ew.
But yeah, he really gets into the role. Like he's all aboard that Pennywise
I
train.
knew he was good in that scene because he was like being all playful and
Yeah.
I like popcorn. Pop, 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 pop.
Yeah, look, the circus, Georgie. And like the great part where he's like being all happy and excited, he's like, "Take the boat," and he just goes all dead faced. And like the conversation just stops.
And then he's just like, "Your brother's gonna kill you if you don't take the boat."
Like he doesn't say anything.
And every time like they're like hinting that he's around or he's gonna show up, it's really cool. Like the balloons or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
It's like, oh shoot, something bad is gonna happen. Especially because the first scene
Or
is
he-
so
or-
horrific that no matter what, even if they don't do anything for the rest of the movie, it's like, I'm not okay with this guy showing up again because he's gonna kill a kid.
That's why I think the first scene is so successful. Is even though they don't do anything to the kids the rest of the movie, like not a single character you care about gets harmed in any way after the movie.
Other kids
starts.
die. It's just not the main one.
Yeah, but you believe that they can get killed because they set it up in the first scene that kids can't get or kids aren't safe.
Not just that, but they killed the cute younger brother kid.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm just gonna take my boat out in the rain. It's like, oh, that's cool.
And that kid was really, really good too.
Yeah. But the movie was surprisingly funny. Out of nowhere, like you see those trailers, and at no point do you think like, "What a hilarious comedy!" Like Superbad.
Yeah, it's got a really good sense of humor.
Really, like it's. I mean, it is like super bad style humor.
Yeah,
Like-
it's really crass.
When he goes up to his mom with the pills and he's like, "They're gazebos."
And it does like the movie will just go like turn really, really like stylized out of nowhere. Like when she opens the fat kid's door and shows the New Kids on the Block poster.
Yeah,
And
that
it
was
was just like, where did that come from?
That was
They
super
were all
funny.
just staring at the girl while she's just lying there, and they're just blaring the music.
So
This movie's really weird.
some other complaints that I had though. So the villain kid, like the racist stab kid. I felt like he went from 0 to 100 like way too quick in the beginning. Like he went from regular high school bully in the first scene that you see him in, and then literally the next scene you see him in, he's about to cut a kid open.
Just like Light Turner. In the Death Note movie.
I didn't feel like there was really any. I mean, at least in the beginning, you didn't get a sense of that he was a bully that isn't just your typical high school bully, but a bully that will also kill
Psychopath.
people.
Well, that's a little difficult for me to have a problem with, just me, because I've seen the original, and I know that kid has serious
I
problems.
didn't have a problem with it because
I
it's
mean,
the second scene where he does something crazy where it's like, okay, so the first scene is this, and it's like, okay,
he doesn't
he
do
bullies a
anything
kid, he
'cause
doesn't
his
do
dad-
anything because his dad's there, and then the second scene, he's a complete psycho, and you're like, okay, so he's just a psycho. Like that, I feel like that both together is establishing.
I don't know, man. I just think a knife is at least a third scene. Like it should have.
Well, that's the thing. It's a first scene because he already pulls knives on kids. Like that's something he already would do. I feel like.
I think the funniest part of the movie is when he stabs his dad in the throat and his dad goes.
And I was like, that's probably what I would say if I got stabbed in the throat myself.
No.
well, what I was telling them is that a big change that they had with that character was that he doesn't. In the original, he just shows up at the end in the final sewer battle or whatever.
They didn't like establish that he got donkey brain from the monster.
No. Like he gets there and then he sees the clown and everything and he barely makes it out and then he's just autistic and then he gets framed for all the murders and all the kid murders and all that, and he goes to prison, and then Pennywise comes and haunts him in the second part as an adult to kill the older kids, and he's a threat then. But this one,
the reason I have a problem with it
did it
isn't
early, so.
necessarily because it's awful. I feel like it could have been more interesting if they just
He wasn't out of it.
yeah, and it would have been more interesting if you kind of showed Pennywise manipulating him the whole time. So by the end of it, you were like, yeah, he is a knife wielding psychopath.
I would agree with that.
I could buy that he's the kind of kid who would like start stabbing people because what other he licked his hand and then just slapped that kid in the face, and I was like, well, he's capable of anything. I as a human being with empathy would never do that.
Brian, you did that in high school.
I sneezed on someone, it's different. The complaint I had is the final fight with them and Pennywise I thought was a little lame. Like they didn't really beat him in like a cool, clever way. They just beat the shit out of him like he was like a they just.
That's something that modern horror movies just don't know how to do. Really, like think about any horror movie you've seen recently.
I was
None
thinking
of
about
them
that
know
when
how
the
to
movie
kill their
was-
demon.
Like the first 30 minutes was like, I hope this doesn't end with like a beam fight at the end with Pennywise. Like, you know,
Most of them are just gonna be like, all right, the demon's yelling, and then we're gonna yell a prayer at them, and then it's like, "Ah!" for like 30 seconds.
But I don't think it
And
was them
Conjuring 1
beating
and
him
every
with a
other
baseball bat.
horror movie.
I don't think that was what killed him. I think it was just because he wasn't eating fear anymore.
One of my
No.
favorite shots in the entire movie is when when they're in the house the first time and he runs away and the stuttering kid's like, we can't let him escape, and he runs to the well and you just see like 3 frames of him dipping down in the well, but it's like perfect dip, like they just took a JPEG and slid it down below the well, like whoop. That made me chuckle.
That happens a few different times, like when he pops around the corner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Little things like that. Also, small problem I had was the fat kid. He
Sucked ass.
well, that wasn't what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that what I didn't even realize actually until today was that. So they set up like what he's afraid of, right? And the headless thing chases him around, right? And I'm like, oh, that's freaky. And then it literally never comes up again, not even at the end when they're fighting him, because all the other fears come
Because they
out,
cut
right?
all his scenes because he sucked.
And I'm like,
Well, I thought like his fear of like the headless kid was because he was afraid of child murder.
Yeah, well,
He
no.
knows Pennywise is responsible.
Yeah, I think he was more scared of the town in general. Like his thing wasn't that he was scared of.
I was scared that he was a child in a town famous for child murder.
Yeah, that's true.
The last fight did have some interesting moments. I liked the kid putting
One of the
A
animal
goat murderer gun.
goat killer gun right in his brother's head. That was cool.
yeah,
Would you hold
he
still for
manned
me?
up and did it.
That would have been so funny if it was actually his brother. Where he was just like, well, I've been wrong before, guys.
Think that for a second.
And then
It's
he got a
like,
whole Sweeney Todd thing going.
where it's like, oh shoot, because he just lays there for a while.
Fuck.
Go see it. Support the movie. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's pretty cool.
Highly enjoyable.
Yeah,
Check it
highly
out.
enjoyable.
Yeah, I had the most problems with it, and I would still say it gets a glaring thumbs up.
A fun time at the movies.
Yeah, it's a great like summer blockbuster horror movie.
And all the horror
which
elements
don't
work.
exist.
Like, all our complaints really didn't have anything to do with the horror elements. Like, they
No.
all were done well.
Oh yeah, that scene in that garage was fucking sweet.
Yeah.
when that happened, I was like, he could just be big. He could just decide he's giant.
Yeah, again, and all the,
like, that's
a lot of the
cheating.
kids act really naturally when crazy stuff happens.
They're like, oh shit! Oh fuck! Oh fuck! Thank you guys for watching. This was our review of it. We'll see you guys when we review Ghost.
Are we not gonna do this? Are we not? What?
What?
What are you trying to say?
I don't know. I just got
Are we not gonna do that?
Did you see a White Walker?
Death.
Don't watch Death Note.
I don't watch
no,
that.
what
That,
do you-
that movie stuff.
If you want to watch a horror movie, watch it and don't watch Death Note.